is our name and identity. First, we're American. But what's our ethnicity? Dobanian.
Hello. A very happy hello to you, ladies and gentlemen. I'm John King, Dobanian, Kassandra, and welcome to the John Kassandra Show. This show is about what all of my other shows have been about. It's about our journey from hell to happiness. Let me tell you something. You rich blacks, or so-called blacks, I don't like the word, you know that, but you think you're happy. I don't care if you have millions or billions and yachts and 5 and 6 homes and Rolls Royces. You think you're happy? And I'm telling you one thing, you're not. You're not happy because you're settling. And the reason you are settling is that has been the idea of prosperity that has been given to you, the idea of success that has been given to you. If you are African descent, if you're a descendant of black African natives and you are even the spouse, no matter what the race or color is, you're a spouse, a son or daughter of the descendants of black African natives, let me tell you, the only way that I found to be happy is to get our correct identity. Now you might say, well, that means very little to me because of this, that, and the other. Well, I'll tell you, it means everything. It means everything. With or without money, it means everything. And I'm going to tell you why it means everything. Because, you see, the money you have and the wealth you have, that won't be passed on to all of us. But let me tell you, when you're working on something that is going to be good for you, your family, your ethnic family, eternally, then inside you can be happy. You see, you can settle or not settle. But I choose not to settle because there are a lot of things. There are a lot of things that I have personally done, but there was always something in the back of my mind, and I know each one of you, it is in the back of your mind, is this all there is to it? And there are things in the back of your mind that keeps you unsatisfied. And I'm going to bring them out to you. The things that keep you unsatisfied. When you see other ethnic groups come here, unite, and get themselves together, and they wind up being more successful than we are, don't tell me that doesn't ring in your head. We've been here since slavery, and we're still in the same old rut. Don't tell me that doesn't ring in your head, even if you are the one that's a billionaire. Well, why haven't we done something about it? You know, we didn't know where to start. We didn't. Now, let me tell you something. The reason I'm saying I do know where to start, and I've been working on it for 40 years, let me tell you something. The reason I'm telling you this is that my dreams in America, I have completed a lot of my dreams. I was successful at completing a lot of my dreams. I have had more than rent money in the bank. Let me tell you, it did not satisfy me. Why? Because in my head I had that overall picture that concerns every one of us. Every one of us. And I wanted to find a solution. I know the problem. I wanted to find a solution that we could deal with what is really going on that keeps us down. Why are these other people coming here, uniting and getting ahead? Well, uniting is one of the key words. But we couldn't unite because we didn't have the tools to unite. Now, when I say the tools, what do I mean? Number one, We did not have our correct identity. And I'm telling you, with the millions and with the billions, if you think you are happy without your correct identity, think again. You're settling. You're settling. Now, why am I saying that? You're settling because you're not taking the time to look and say, wait a minute, what about this thing, this about my identity, and da-da-da-da-da. What about that? I mean, what does that mean? Yeah, that little thing, that little unrest in the pit of your stomach when you think you got everything and you say, uh-oh, I'm still not happy. Guess what? That doesn't go on in the pit of my stomach. You know why it doesn't go on in the pit of my stomach? When I reached one of the great goals that I was supposed to reach on December the 28th, 1968, when I played 2 shows at Carnegie Hall, and I got standing ovations, the New York Times wrote about me and all that kind of stuff. That was one of my goals in life, is to play Carnegie Hall, like I had seen in a record shop in Vallejo, California, when I was selling records over the counter, and I was selling an album with Harry Belafonte at Carnegie Hall. And I said, oh my Lord, I wish I could play Carnegie Hall one day. And it came about. I did play Carnegie Hall. But when I played it and I got back to the hotel room, something hit me. This isn't it. This isn't it. I should have been the happiest person in the world. But my sensitivity, and just like your sensitivity, you don't know what's bothering you. I'll tell you what's bothering you. You don't have that complete picture of you and your people making it all the way from hell to happiness. Now, I tell you what, I'm going to go up here and let you know what I'm talking about, because I've been doing this. I'm going to show you this album just to show you, and I do it all the time. I'm going to show you that I have been working. I have been working on this for over 40 years. And I'm not stupid. If I were not correct and working on the same subject matter and working on the solution to this, I would have stopped. I would have stopped. I just would not have done it. Because if it's not worth working for, I would have said, hey, wait a minute, that's not worth working for. That's not worth me giving my life to. But guess what? When you find something that is worth, see, we're not supposed to be working not so we won't be able to work. We're supposed to be working so we will always have good, beautiful, wonderful work to do that concerns us. And you can't do that which concerns us until you know who you are, you know who we are. Now let me show you something. Like your private family, you don't go feed the neighbor's kids before you feed your own kid, do you? If you do, you're stupid. You don't do that. Now say your family. Now you're talking about your private family. Now you got your ethnic family, your people. Like Dr. Martin Luther King, we all shall get to the mountaintop. But we can't do that until we find out what is keeping us from the mountaintop. Now we have our personal family and our ethnic family, and then we have the family of our nation, the family of our nation. Now, here's one thing I want you to know. I am not going against anybody. I got white people in my family. I've had a white wife. I got a lot of kids. I know what it is all about. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about we as a people, the people that were brought over here, sold by our own people, and put into slavery, and went through all those 246 years of slavery. Then when Lincoln came along and got us out and got killed for it, I'm talking about these people. I'm talking about our people, who we are. And the reason we did not unite is because we didn't know how, and we didn't have the tools. Now I'm going up here to this t-shirt, and I'm going to show you the tools that will make it able for us to unite. Number one, on this t-shirt, as you see that, first of all, we are Americans. We are Americans, and we are descendants of black African natives. We are not so-called black. Some of us as white as any white person. But that's the reason you see I have black crossed out. I would have Negro crossed out. I'd have a colored. I have African American. We are not African Americans. Our parents were born here. Our grandparents were born here. Their parents were born here. We are not African Americans, and get that through your head. You have to get your correct identity before you can do anything about the situation of where we are. And here's what we are. If we were in England, this would be the Union Jack. I am Dobanian. What does that mean? That means I am not an African and all those other names. I am a descendant of black African natives. Now, the IN is only a suffix. As if you were from Iran, you would be Iranian, Dobanian. Now, why do I have to have a name? I have to have a name because I have to be able to claim everything that is mine. And that is the reason we have not been able to unite. And that is the reason you are settling when you, one or two, or the few, get the millions and say, okay, I'm all right. But you know what you're doing? You're identifying with the majority of the so-called white people, and they have given you your example of how to be rich, which is totally wrong, because all those other ethnicities that are here, all those other ethnic groups, they unite and they have centers for information. They have centers for everything that they need and get the information that they need. Why don't we have that? And they have the same name all over the world. That's what I'm trying to get to you. And the only way we, Dobanians, can get from hell to happiness is to realize who we are, what our identity is, what we are supposed to be doing. And let me tell you, I am not working so I don't have to work anymore. I'm working so I can happily work on what is going to matter to my children, my grandchildren, and their great-grandchildren. And that makes me happy. I bet you, I know most of you so-called rich guys have more money than I ever had. But I'll bet you $1 against a donut that you are not as happy as I am. I don't have that flutter in the pit of my stomach. I don't have the thing that says, hey man, I know you got all this, but what else you do? Well, now go get some drugs and kill yourself and blah, 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 blah. Go out here and do something wrong, do something stupid. I don't have that. My happiness, as yours will be, when you connect and when you see that I'm right in the things I'm saying, when you say, man, I want to be a part of that. I want to be a part of that. And I know there are good people out there. Many of you are very good people, and you have your own individual foundations and programs to help in your own way. But I'm telling you now that we're going to have one, not 100. We're going to have one organization that says it all and does it all. We are going to have one, and that organization is the Dobanian Worldwide Cultural Foundation. Now, I'm telling you this, that is something eternal, and I can back it up. And here's why I can back it up. If there were not such a thing as a lie detector's test, I wouldn't be able to say what I'm saying today. When it comes to the largest music festival for our people that has ever been had, it came from right here in my head. And that was Wattstax at the Coliseum. The largest. I went into Al Bell's office and said, man, with all these artists you have down here, we should be able to have a black Woodstock. That's exactly what I told Al Bell. The whole idea came from me. They never gave me the real credit for doing it. Now, another thing, I'm showing you what I'm saying this to prove what I showed you up there on the t-shirt. I'm saying this to prove I'm telling you what is right. I'm telling you something eternal. When Jesse Jackson wanted to change the name of his Operation Breadbasket, a man by the name of Larry Shaw came to me and said, you know, Jesse want to change the name of Operation Breadbasket. And anything, you think you could come up with something? I said, let me sleep on it. I went back to the motel that night. I thought about it. And I'm the man who came up with the phrase, people unite, save humanity. That equals the acronym from people unite, save humanity is PUSH. Push. Operation Push. That has been over 35 or 40 years ago. Operation Push still exists because there isn't a better name for what his organization should be than Operation Push. He said they call it now the Rainbow Push Coalition. But the reason I didn't say black people push or black this or black that, I said no. Operation Push means people, not black people. People unite, save humanity. I came up with that. Now, when I tell you that we must have a name, that all of this to claim what is ours, and I'm telling you that this name, as I go back up here, this name does it. Dobanian, this name does it. And why? Because we have to have a new royal identity. Our identity has been goofed up in black, colored, Negro, nigger, all this kind of stuff for so long. And we have to come to one final word, one final name, because we have to have one royal new image, one royal positive self-image, one royal spirit. We have to build our own programs. We build our own culture, our own art, our own faith, our own health care, our own housing, food, fashion, our own theaters, our own movies, our own music, our own socioeconomic programs. And let me tell you something. If we build and own them, they equal billions. Billions done the right way equals deliverance for all of our people. People, if you can't see that, I don't know how many ways that I can tell you. I don't know how many ways that I can tell you how important your correct identity is and how correct your name is. Number one, we have to do our own house cleaning. Nobody's going to clean our house for you. Does anybody come into your house unless you pay them to clean your house? Well, nobody's going to clean us up as an ethnic group if we don't clean ourselves up. And the poor people and the people that can't hardly make it, they can't do it for themselves. They're hustling too hard to keep bread on the table, to keep their children fed, to keep their parents and who can't hardly help themselves. They're doing all of that. What are you doing? You're playing around. Let me tell you, I don't mind to see everybody get help. But I see people going over in foreign land and pretending that you love blacks so much that you adopt a black baby from a foreign land and that you'll take care of black children from foreign lands. What the hell is wrong with the black children of America? Why aren't you looking after us? You see, I'm one of those little black kids without a chance that came from the wrong side of the track. Black skinned black. When black, it wasn't cool to be black. When you were called Inky Dinky, when you were called 8-Ball, when you were called everything. And I made it past there. But I guess what? I didn't forget where I came from. And you people trying to forget where you came from. You're settling. Every little black kid, and I don't like the word black, every little Dobanian kid should have a way out. There should be a center. There should be the information there. There should be the names and the numbers of people they can go to for assistance. We are the one who have to put that there. And you, rich black people, who are making yourself so well known on the international level, you're not doing what you should do. You should fall in love with yourselves, fall in love with your people, fall in love with your ethnic group, fall in love with the people of your country. Your country. You see, you can do all this stuff and look good for the news media and all that kind of stuff. In fact, those of us who really have something to say, we can't hardly get on the news media. We can't hardly get on the news media. We have the right things to say. We're telling you the right things to do to get us from where we are trying to get from. We're trying to get, we the people who were sold by our own people into slavery. We are trying to get from hell to happiness. And those of you who are doing this big deal, you're fronting and buck dancing on television. Why don't you get in touch with me? I'm working and I'm working this. The only thing I have is discontent because I can't get to you like it should. And guess what? I want to talk to you for a second about giving. You are going to have to learn to give to your own. And I don't know how long this program is going to last, but I'll tell you one thing. When this program winds down, the only way I can get to you is to buy airtime. If I have to buy airtime, it's going to cost me more than the money I have in my pocket. And you are supposed to be glad to give if you are given to something that is true. Now, I talk about the temple, the Dobanian Right Action Temple. You know who that Dobanian Right Action Temple is? It's you. The temple of truth is inside you. It's that awareness of people that dare not live down in shacks looking up at shiny new steeples. Turn it around. Turn it around. The whole damn thing is upside down. And you won't let your people do that. Everybody here comes here and they have got something to do and they get their people going and they get their people going in the right direction and we let our people linger. And you people with the money, when you go, you can't take a dime with you. And I want you to do one thing. I want you to hold on. Stay strong. And remember that the old cannot help the old and the poor cannot help the poor. The sick cannot help the sick. And when the blind tries to lead the blind, all of us wind up in a ditch. I want you people to get in touch with me. And I want you to be good with each other, good to each other. And I want you to be strong, be kind, and help each other. For right now, till next time, bye-bye.
Just one more mountain, Dr. King's mountain.
There's only one more mountain Dr. Martin Luther King would surely turn over in his grave to see us freed on paper and still mentally, spiritually, and economically enslaved. What we gotta understand, America, that Dr. King's dream was not black, yellow, red, brown, or white. Dr. King's dream was of humanness, of freedom, and it was right. But his dream has been distorted, and his dream has been exploited. Now all of our freedoms are nearly gone, and his dream is nearly dropped. We're moving further on down in the valley when we are supposed to be on our way to the mountaintop. There's got to be a reason we're not there by now. But if we don't know where the mountain is, we can't get to the top no how. See, we are procrastinating down in the valley of despair with ignorance, prejudice, greed, poverty, hate, and disease, when we should ask some humble philosopher to locate, identify, define, and take us to the mountaintop, please. See, the base of a natural mountain is the valley and the earth below, formed by the elements of the earth and the environments that make it grow. But the base of our individual and metaphysical mountains of human existence is in the valleys of our mind, created by our environment and how we accept and use the truths and situations of our time. Now, to build our own mountain, we must dig deep and build a true foundation, or we can keep on goofing off down here in the valley of despair until all our lives and all of our freedom has had their duration. See, America, we got to make up our mind, because we just can't go and stay at the same time. We got to come on over, so freedom will never be over. One more mountain.